Mine water management and acid mine drainage has for many years been a major environmental challenge for South Africa's mining sector. In 2002, the first known incident of AMD flowing onto the surface from an abandoned gold mine in the Western Basin in the Krugersdorp area came to light. This is why the Western, Central and Eastern basins of the Witwatersrand are currently the main focus of South Africa's acid mine drainage treatment needs. Now, SAME Water is one of the companies that is actively involved in the treatment of acid mine drainage throughout Gauteng and beyond. And here to tell us a little bit more about this is the Technical Director of SAME Water, Cornelius de Swart. Good morning, Cornelius. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
It's a long time in the making. It's always periodically in the news. What's the latest? Where are we when we talk about the threat of AMD?
Well, I think what we got to start with is just where does AMD come from? And I think for people to understand this, it's really water that comes into contact with pyrite, which is also commonly known as fool's gold.
Yeah.
And that's what causes the acidity to build up in the water. Now, I don't think that when the early people started to mine that they knew about this. So where are we today? We sit with a problem with 100 years worth of gold mining activities in the Gauteng area. And this level of water is rising inside of the underground levels. Now, so are we winning the war against AMD? I would think so. The figures currently for the acid mine drainage project in Central Basin, the level have dropped because of the efforts of that plant from 103 meters have dropped now to 115. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, just 15 meters. If you take it over the entire area of the Central Basin area, it is millions and millions of liters of water that's being treated.
What are the immediate sort of threats to people, to communities in and around these mining areas?
Immediately would be when this water actually surfaces. And now what we mean by surfaces is if it actually contaminates the upper levels of the water that we actually take from boreholes to drink. And it's definitely acidic in the sense of approximately 5 pH. And it doesn't really sustain biological life at that stage. So we need about a 6.5 to still sustain biological life. So we're talking about wildlife, environmental impacts of that case, as well as sinkholes. It's a definite another threat that we sit with in regards to surfacing acid mine drainage water.
Is it repairable, and what will it take, and how much will it cost?
Repairable, I think it's a question, do I have the crystal ball? I want to congratulate, that the government have put some money aside and a plant was built in record time, and we can see the results in the drop of the acid mine level. Is it repairable? I don't think so. I think it's manageable. And I think we can manage it. I mean, currently the idea is to take the water level down by several hundred meters. And eventually, I think the acidity will be less and less to the extent where we can leave it and not continue to treat it anymore.
How does one treat it? How does one reverse this process?
Many technologies are tested, but the only proven technology at this stage that really works is for us to actually add quicklime to the acidic water. Adding quicklime to the acidic water brings the pH up from about 5 to 8.5. And then when we do this, heavy metals, iron, that is currently in solution in the acidic water, will then precipitate and fall out. And then in big tanks, we will correct that sludge, and then we will take it to a place where it can be treated further or just disposed of safely. We sit with a problem in the sense that it's still salty water after we've cleaned it from its acidic values. And that's salty or salinity needs to be removed by most common process currently is RO. And that is very expensive. Although, approximately 500 tons worth of sludge gets disposed of, and 80 tons of quicklime was added to the water per day.
Are we starting to change the way that we work a little bit, and other parts of the country that are developing similar problems? Can we mitigate those problems?
It's really not the best question for me. From an environmental stage, in regards to the mine planning to going forward, I'm very sure that the Department of Minerals is looking into mitigating efforts to make sure that mines that's currently in operation, are responsible for an extended time period. But it's not the best question for me to answer.
Well, I thank you for joining us. It's certainly very concerning. It's nice to know that the massive efforts are underway to mitigate and to bring back some of the areas around the mines that have been affected. Cornelius de Swart, who's the Technical Director of SA Water, thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.